प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं। प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्।
So by negating it cannot be perceived by any of the senses, it cannot be handled by any of the organs of action, it doesn't have causality, it doesn't have any distinctive feature of color. It means it is Vastu Guna Varjita in Sanskrit. That means it does not have any of the properties of an object. An object has to be perceived. If you cannot perceive the object, it is not an object. Suppose even if you say electron and protons, they are objects, but we are not perceiving. Well, we are not directly perceiving, but we are inferring, because they are leaving a trace in the cloud chamber or somewhere, from where you can conclude that there is a particle which has gone like this. So it is inferred. Most of the things are inferred. So it does not have any object properties. So you cannot call the truth an object. So forget about seeing God. He cannot stand before you. If he stands before you, it is not God. It is material object in the universe. You cannot accept it, no? If he stands before you and you can see and touch and speak to him, that means he is part of material object. Even if it is God, the God has become that object, like we say that the Guru, the God has become Guru, like that. The next sentence says, Achakshushrotram tadapanipadam. This truth, Brahman or the Atma, it does not have the eyes, does not have the ears, does not have the feet and hands. Ears and eyes means does not have the sense organs, senses, Jnanendriyas. And feet and hand means it does not have the Karnendriyas also. That means Karta Guna Varjitam. Karta Guna Varjitam. That means it cannot do anything. It cannot see, it cannot hear, it cannot hold you, it cannot console you, nothing. That is what God is. Baba told me that after seeing all the pilgrimages, one visits Puri, Jagannatha temple. Why? Because in all, going to Banaras, going to Amarnath and Jammu mein kya hai? Devi, Vaishno Devi and all, everywhere you have gone and prayed that, oh Bhagwan, हमारे बेटा को एक अच्छा नौकरी लगा दे, oh भगवान हमारे पति देव बीमार पड़े हैं उनको ठीक कर दो. Everywhere you have asked God to look at you and do something for you. After doing all that, you go and visit Jagannatha, who is the Lord of the universe. Jagannatha means Lord of the universe. And you find that his hands are not there, legs are not there. We call Thoto Jagannath in Bengali. वो कुछ नहीं है, कुछ नहीं करता है, वो चल भी नहीं सकता. He cannot walk, he cannot do anything. Even seeing also, the eyes they have put, which does not have a focus. केवली बाबा बोलते हैं, कुछ नहीं करते हैं. Jagannath does not do anything at all. So this is what the shloka is saying, that he doesn't have any property of the object, he is not an object. He doesn't have the properties, the qualities, the parameters, the qualities of a karta also, of a doer, or a seer, or a knower, nothing. Then, what is he? Nityam. Nityam means who transcends time. Actually, Nityam means who is always there. But if you want to get at the true meaning, Nityam means who transcends time. Because time is within the causality. That cause and effect we say, which is preceding in time we call cause, and which is following in time we call it effect. It is all in the dual system, dual world, causality and time. So Nityam means who transcends time. You can say in simple terms, who is always there. Vibhum. Vibhum means who has become everything. That is all the forms. Now what can become all the forms? If it already has a form, then can it take all the other forms? A circle cannot become a rectangle. When it doesn't have any form, it has the capacity of expressing all the forms. So actually it is not just all the forms, who transcends form. So who transcends time, Vibhum, who transcends form. So you cannot think that the form deities are only our imagination. We have to think that the form deities we worship, there is nothing wrong in worship, because the purpose of worship is to focus our mind, make the mind convergent. So if anybody worships a formed deity, there is nothing wrong. The purpose is nothing to do with the deity. The purpose of puja is to do with us, our own. Nityam Vibhum Sarvagatam, who is pervading everything. Actually, he is not pervading everything. Everything is appearing in him. So, truly speaking, Sarvagatam means not all pervading, but transcending space. Do you get it? Transcending space. Space is a manifestation of the truth. Space-time is a manifestation of the truth. It is from the truth, consciousness. In the consciousness, space, time, God, all are concepts. Space is a concept in the consciousness. Time is a concept in the consciousness. Agree नहीं करते हैं क्या? God also is a concept in the consciousness, which because of causality we have imagined God. Everything has got cause in the objective world. So we want a cause for the entire universe, entire creation, and we think of God. Actually, causality fails there. Causality should not be extended. It's a wrong extension. So you can say God is a wrong inference. Extending the causality beyond the limit. Where we should stop, causality is within the fold of duality. Achha, Nityam Vibhum Sarvagatam means transcending space. Susukshmam. Susukshmam. Sukshmam means subtle. Susukshmam means extremely subtle. Now the moment I tell you extremely subtle, you will think in terms of the objective subtlety. That the water is subtler than the table, the gas, air is subtler than the water, the space is subtler than the air. Will you not? But this sukshmata or subtlety, you are thinking as if I am looking at or I am knowing the subtlety of an object. It is not an object, it is a subject, your own Atma, consciousness. So it is actually transcending the gross, subtle everything. The gross, whatever we think, the objects are gross, it is also appearing in the consciousness. It is made of consciousness, nothing else. So if you say that it is subtle, that means it is not gross. समझ में नहीं आता? When you say it is Sukshma, means it cannot become gross. It is not gross. But it has become all the grossest thing also, like iron, steel or anything you think of. The grossest things are also what it has manifest, it has become. So it is beyond the concept of subtle and gross, is the Susushma. Nityam Vibhum Sarvagatam Susushma. Then comes the final statement for which I quoted. Tad abhyayam yad bhuta yonim paripashyanti dhira. He says this is the bhuta yoni. Yoni means womb or the source. Yoni generally refers to our womb. It is the source or the of bhuta yoni, the whole objective universe. This is the source of the objective universe, bhuta yoni. But the main point is that abhyayam bhuta yoni. Abhyayam means unchanging. Can you think of a material source which produces an effect without undergoing a change? When the sun is radiating, the radiation is coming, the hydrogen is getting converted into helium. Without that, the sun will not radiate. When you produce a cauliflower, the nutrition and elements from the earth is getting converted into the cauliflower. So that much of nutrition will be less in the earth. Anything in the entire creation, can there be anything without changing the source of it, the cause of it? In fact, the causality means the cause undergoes a change in becoming the effect. If you burn this book, it will become ash. The cause, which is the book, cause of the ash is the book. But in producing the ash, the book is no more, the paper is no more the paper. It has undergone a change. So anything in the objective universe, to produce anything in the objective universe, the source has to undergo a change. But this is a source which does not change at all, which produces the whole universe. So it is not the usual material causality. Material causality, we call it parinama srishti. Material causality. Material causality means the cause will change in producing the effect. That is the material causality. But if the whole universe is coming from a material cause, then that is also part of the universe. So the cause of the whole universe cannot be a material at all. Where is the universe coming? It is just appearing in the consciousness. By that, the consciousness is not undergoing any change at all. The Chit, the Atma, the Brahman, the consciousness, there cannot be any change, because change means you have to see the change, you have to know the change. It can be only in the objective level. In the subject level, there cannot be any change at all. It reveals all the changes taking place in the world, in the universe. बहुत कठिन हो जा रहा क्या? हाँ? You have to think. So, it is called विवर्त सृष्टि. The whole universe, ये जो मिथ्या बोल रहे हैं, इसीलिए मिथ्या बोला जाता है. उसको समझाने के लिए हमने बोला है इतना कुछ. This whole thing I am narrating only in reply to that question. What is मिथ्या? मिथ्या उसी को बोला जाता है कि ये सृष्टि विवर्त है. This सृष्टि, this creation is called विवर्त सृष्टि, apparential creation. From apparent, I am saying apparential. That word may not be there. It's an apparent creation. What is the nearest example? In dream. In dream, we don't have any doubt that suddenly the whole dream world, including there you have created your body, mind, personality also, the whole thing is appearing in your mind, in your consciousness. How was it produced? Is there any causality there? You cannot say that I was thinking and that thought has become. It is not always so. It just appears. I am given to see always peculiar spacecrafts which I have never imagined at all. So there is no question of thinking about it earlier. Peculiar phenomena we see. Day before yesterday also I was seeing something very strange. I was talking about it. So it just appears in the consciousness. Without any, because it is not a parinama srishti. It is a manifestation or appearance in the consciousness. It doesn't need any material. Actually, material is produced by it, because there also in dream we are seeing all the dream materials. We are eating dream food and the dream hunger is satiated by that. Is it not? In dream, to satisfy your hunger, you will take dream food, and by that you will become full. But if the hunger is real and that has got penetrated into the dream, however much you take, that hunger will still be there and you will get up and take food after that. So this is a complete vivarta srishti in the dream. Like that, there is practically no difference, because whatever we are seeing as the world, we are seeing only when it appears in our consciousness. Otherwise we will not know. Whatever we are knowing as external, this whole externality with all its subjects is appearing in my mind, in my consciousness. Without that we would not have known. If we did not have the eyes, then the whole vision part of the color part of the universe would have been missing. It is all created in the mind. in our within. So, in fact, what we are interacting with the world, the external world of objects and the internal world of thoughts, emotions, intelligence, everything, all these are constructs in our consciousness, in the consciousness, including our own body-mind personality. As a whole nature, my body-mind personality is a small speck in that. The whole universe, including my body-mind personality, is appearing in that consciousness. Is it okay? Then can we call the consciousness within the body? Or the body is within the consciousness? The whole universe, including my body-mind personality, is appearing, floating in that consciousness. So you cannot call the Atma as your Atma. It is the universal Atma, it is the transcendental Atma. That is why we are saying Atma is not fragmented by the body-mind personality. It is the universe. The whole universe is appearing in that Atma. That is why we call it Mithya in that sense. Actually, everything is there. You cannot call it Mithya in the sense we understand. It is in this sense we call it Mithya. That it is not a Parinama Srishti. It's a Vivarta Srishti. Vivarta Srishti, one illustration they give with Alahata Chakra. Alahata Chakra means there is a fire brand. You go on moving, it appears like a circle. Actually the circle is not there, it is the fire brand. Like that, it is also appearing like that. Actually, it is nothing other than the Brahman, nothing other than the consciousness or Atma. But there is no material, of course, which you are moving and shaping. It's only an illustration of that. सब कुछ confused हो गया? नहीं? Everything has got confused? No? But this is the truth. Any other question? So you have to think about it, then the Mithyatva will get actualized. But however much you think, it will remain intellectual. Now I am coming to the truth. It will not get actualized in your mind, in your behavior, as long as Bhogecha is there. This is the fact. This is the experienced fact. As long as the Bhogecha means we want to enjoy the world. We want to enjoy the object or objective situation. We enjoy the tendency to enjoy. This is called Bhogecha. So that Bhogecha will not allow you to actualize this oneness, because we want the difference to enjoy something, to suffer something, to get afraid of something, to run after something, to run away from something. These are all part of Bhogecha. Good plus minus Bhogecha. So because of this Bhogecha, the reality of this Tattva, that this truth will not fully dominate your mind as long as this Bhogecha is there. So this Bhogecha has to go, and this, as the Bhogecha becomes less and less, the knowledge gets consolidated, it gets more and more actualized. As the knowledge gets actualized, your Bhogecha also will fall. Because when you find everything is one, who will run after what? Who will run away from what? Who will love what? The love is oozing for everything. It is all encompassing love. You don't have to have any particular love for anything, anybody. Actually, who does not like love? Everybody likes love. Because love is a parameter of our soul. But we are fools who want the love to come from another source. Actually, love is our parameter of the soul. When you love everybody, everything, when you generate love, that when you manifest love, then you are absolutely fulfilled. Whether others love you or not, you will never care for that. Because it's a soul parameter, it's the nature of the soul. Because soul is all pervading, soul is one. So love means a force of unification. Love means what? It's a unifying force. The soul itself unifies everything. There is no two there. It is all one. So as the knowledge gets more and more consolidated, you will find that the reality of the bhogas, they will become less and less. And an all-pervading love, an impersonal love will slowly overpower you, will be flooding you. And that will make the other things more and more what they are, that atasmin tat buddhi will go. It will become tasmin tat buddhi, not atasmin tat buddhi. So that now the body consciousness, the body separate identity is very real to us. As the knowledge grows more and more, deeper and deeper, the consciousness will become more real than the body. The whole, there will be a paradigm shift. They are all there, they are functioning. So you will not be bothered so much about this person I like, that person I do not like, I hate him, I love him. All those things will go because the consciousness which is all pervading will take over. There will be a paradigm shift in your vision. This is a vision shift, not with the eye vision shift, the buddhi vision shift, inner vision shift. It's called ikshana. Ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshana. Verse number? Ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshana. This ikshana is the vision of the buddhi. Yoga yuktatma, one who has fused his small identity into the universal soul. He becomes yoga yuktatma. Atma has got fused in the Brahman, in the Paramatma. That is called yoga. For him, the inner vision, ikshate yoga yuktatma, sarvatra samadarshana. Everywhere, that is the samadarshana of Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter. Siddhi siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. It is not managerial samadarshana. Although we interpret Bhagavad Gita, utilize in management, that is very a puny thing. Evenness of vision and all. It has to go to that level. That is the Bhagavad Gita samatva. It's not the samatva of the I like this and I don't like this and that samatva. It has to be taken to that level where ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshana. Atmaupam, श्लोक नहीं बताया?
6.29.
हाँ?
ikshate 6.29.
6.29. Ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshana. Another is atmaupamena sarvatra samam pashyati yojuna. Sukham va yadiva dukkham sa yogi paramo matah. 6.32. 6.32. Atmaupamena sarvatra samam pashyati yojuna. That samadarshana is everywhere the Atma. Sukham va yadiva dukkham. The sukha is a concept in the soul. Sukha is a wave in the Atma, wave in our consciousness. Dukkha is also wave in our consciousness. So what is so great about sukha and what is so abominable about dukkha? That is why dukkha, sukha both can be enjoyed. Dukkha, we have been discussing for the last 2 days that in cinema or book also, the suffering we can enjoy. It is enriching because both of them are waves in the consciousness. It is our egoistic association with the dukkha and sukha that creates the bheda buddhi, the differential notion. Now it should be clear, we have already discussed these things for 2 days. So today I think it became quite linked to the whole thing, but our TV viewers will not be able to. If we can create this, is it okay, sound and all? Any other question? सब question खत्म हो गया.
Of purity, is there a stage where you can break the barriers of Vidya?
बैरियर्स ऑफ मिथ्या नहीं है, बैरियर भी मिथ्या ही है.
Beyond that, there is no mithya. I mean, is there?
No, that concept itself is mithya because you are restricting the mithya in a space-controlled region or some controlled region. Mithya, the concept of mithya also is a mithya, part of the mithya. So when the knowledge comes, suppose when the light comes, with the light can you see the andhakara? Suppose there is a darkness. Bring in a light to know what is that darkness. When the light comes, darkness has gone. Is it not? Can you see the darkness with the light? It has gone. Like that, when the knowledge is brought, the knowledge of the truth is brought, mithya vanishes. That is why it is called mithya. So mithya does not exist actually. That is why it is called Maya. Actually it is called Maya. There is a shloka, Svanashena Harshada. What is that? हम बताए हैं भूल गए. About Prakriti नहीं जानते हो. आश्चर्य रूपिणी माया स्वनाशेन ही हर्षदा. This is from Shanti Gita. आश्चर्य रूपिणी माया. माया को बोलते हैं आश्चर्य रूपिणी. माया generally is referred to Prakriti or you can say Devi, Shakti. Everything is called Maya because in the consciousness the whole universe is appearing to be because of this Shakti. It's a play of Shakti everywhere. So it is called Maya. It says Ashcharya Rupini Maya. This Maya is a strange person. Why? Svanashena hi harshada. Because it delights in its own destruction. See how Shanti Gita. It delights, she delights in her own destruction. Because Maya, one is the Ajnana Rupini Maya. There you are bringing Jnana also. That is also part of the Maya. Knowledge is also part of the Maya. But with the knowledge you are removing the ignorance. So, knowledge is also part of the Maya. That Maya is removing Maya itself. So, Svanashena hi harshada. It delights in her own destruction. Does it answer you? So, in thinking that something beyond Maya, it is not the right concept. You have to think Maya is the entire creation, appearance of the creation. And when the Maya goes, there is no question of any spatial, anything beyond or anything like that. Truth is the beyond, transcending Maya. That's all. आश्चर्य रूपिणी माया सनाशेन ही हर्षदा.